Yo, 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 we got the test review for topic 2. Part A, here we go. Question number 1 says, select all the true statements. Take a look at this figure over here. And first of all, it says angle 5 and angle 2 are alternate interior. Let's see. Angle 5, angle 2 are definitely not alternate interior angles. In fact, angle 2 is not interior at all. So I'm going to go with no. They're not alternate interior angles, and I wouldn't have a name for that angle pair. They're just random angles. Next up says angle 5 and angle 4. So we got angle 5 and angle 4, angle 5 and angle 4, angle 5 and angle 4, and it says that they are equal to each other because they're same side interior angles. And even though they are same side interior angles, that's true, they're not equal to each other. Same side interior angles have a sum of 180 degrees. So if I added angle 4 and angle 5 together, it would equal 180. Not equal each other. So that's also no. Up next, it says that angle 3 is congruent to angle 5. So angle 3 over here is congruent to angle 5. And that's true. They are congruent. Because they're corresponding angles, though, so this part is true. But not because they're corresponding angles. They're alternate interiors. Alternate interior. So definitely review over your notes and your quiz on this topic. We did really, really good on this quiz. A lot of people got hundreds. A lot of people had A's. It was good. So that's also no, but it was because they're not corresponding angles. They were alternate interiors. Up next, it says that 1 is congruent to 7. That's true. They're alternate exteriors, and they are congruent. So yay, I get to check a box. Up next, it says that 2 and 8 are supplementary. And now we know that these angle pairs are either going to be congruent or supplementary. Look at how angle 2 and 8 form a alternate exterior angle pair. So they're not going to be supplementary. They're going to be congruent. All right, they're alternate exteriors, and alternate exteriors are congruent. So make sure you go back and review over all of those. And definitely look at your quiz from that topic, and we had really good notes on that topic too. And then it says, is A parallel to B? Yeah, A is parallel to B because I see these arrows. So A is, that symbol means parallel. And that's true. So we only got to check 2 boxes there. Interesting. Now we're still using the same figure for question 2. It says 6 and 4 are blank angles. So take a look at 6 and 4. And what kind of angle pair do they make? They're both on the interior because they're within the 2 parallel lines. So I can get rid of anything that says exterior or corresponding. So they're both interior, and since they're on opposite sides of that transversal named T, opposite sides of T, we'll say that they're alternate interiors. Alrighty, opposite sides of the transversal within the parallel lines, they're alternate interiors. Cool, cool. Up next, it says that angle 3 and 6. So now I'm looking at angle 3 and angle 6. Again, they're both interiors, but this time they're on the same side of that transversal named T. So they're both interior, so let's keep the interior ones. And since they're on the same side of the transversal, we'll call them consecutive interiors. All right, and last up, line blank is the transversal. Well, we've already talked about it. It's line T is the transversal. It's the one that's cutting through the other lines. Line T is cutting through those other lines. Oh, look, there's one more. The last one says, select all the pairs which are same side exterior angles. So on the same side of the transversal and on the exterior would be 2 and 7. 2 and 7. And on the other side, we have 1 and 8. 1 and 8. Now, 1 and 2, yeah, they're both exteriors, but they're what we call a linear pair. So they're not going to be a same side exterior. That's a linear pair. And 4 and 5 are same side interiors or consecutive interiors. So those aren't right either. All right. Oh, we're still dealing with the same figure. Man, mine has become a mess. I hope you can still see what's going on. Angle 3 is 45 degrees. All right. So this angle 3 right here is 45 degrees. And we want to find out what angle 2 is. Oh, well 3 and 2 are right next to each other, adjacent. So they're going to make a linear pair. All right, and I know a linear pair is supplementary. So the measure of angle 3 plus the measure of angle 2 needs to add up to 180 degrees. That's how linear pairs work. And since I know that angle 3 is 45 degrees, we can substitute and say 45 degrees plus whatever angle 2 is equals 180. And you can use the subtraction property. Say minus 45. Ooh, listen to that thunder. Minus 45. So 180 minus 45, and that leaves you with the measure of angle 2 equals 180 minus 45, 180 minus 45, 135 degrees. Sorry that my work's a little squished in here. All right, so I know that 3 is 45. I know that 2 is 135. Dude, I could find every angle in here. I could be like, all right, angle 1 is going to be 45 degrees because it's vertical with angle 3. Angle 4 is going to be 135 because it's vertical to angle 2. All right, and then I could use the corresponding angles to be like, all right, well, if 3 is 45, then 7 is 45. If 2 is 135, then 6 is 135. 45, 135. So we could find all those missing angles. I know it's become a total mess there. But angle 5, it's going to be 45 degrees. It's alternate interior with angle 3. So I know that they're going to be the same. Angle 6, all right, well, angle 6 is the same side interior with angle 3. So it's going to be supplementary with angle 3. Which means it adds up to 180 with angle 3. Angle 8, all right, well, there's no direct relationship between 3 and angle 8, but I've done all the work, and I see that angle 8 is 135 degrees. I had to kind of get there in a roundabout way, but that works. All right, guys, so study these angle pairs. You have some good notes. You have a good quiz. We got another couple questions on this stuff, but definitely review over this. We played some in class, and we should know those pretty good. What value of x makes the lines parallel? So if the lines were parallel, then I know these would be alternate interiors, and they would be congruent. All right, and we know that the definition of congruent means that the two things are equal to each other. All right, so that would be a 5x minus 54 and a 3x plus 16. Algebra. Yep. So I got 2x equals, what is that, 70? So x would equal 35. Oops, not degrees, just 35. Okay. And I could go back and I could plug that in there. 5 times 35 minus 54. And I could actually see what those angles are. All right, but I don't really have time for that. X is 35. And the last one here says use the word bank to complete the proof. Now, I think there's a correction that needs to be made on this. Let's figure it out here. Angle 3 is equal to angle 7. That was given. So D. Angle 7 plus angle 6 equals 180. So why does angle 7 plus angle 6 equal 180? Well, they make a linear pair. So I'm looking for some kind of explanation that talks about a linear pair. Hey, linear pair theorem, that'll work. All right. All right, so if 3 equals 7 and 7 plus 6 equals 180, then we can substitute. I can replace the 7 with 3. And what's that called when we replace? It should be the substitution property. That's where the mistake is. There's no substitution property on here, is there? So let's add a G, substitution property. Cool, cool. And that means those two lines must be parallel. So let's talk about this. What kind of pair do 3 and 6 form? That's going to be the answer to this last part. 3 and 6 form what type of angle pair? That's how you do these problems. 3 and 6 form consecutive interior angles. Okay, so I've got to find the answer that talks about consecutive interior angles. Looks like F. So, which is actually one of our converse theorems. But we need to focus on the part about consecutive angles. I'm surprised it doesn't say interior somewhere in there. So the answer is going to be F, and that's going to be a lot of words to write, but it's the converse of the consecutive interior angle theorem. Lots of words. All right, but the way I knew it is because 3 and 6 were consecutive interior angles. All right, and that's how you should do these problems. All right, that's the end of this video. Go study up on your angles. We had some pretty good notes. We played a Kahoot in class, and we did really good with this topic, so we should have good grades, hopefully.